I used to think that productivity was a personality trait. Like some people were just born with their shit together and I was born aggressively not that. My credentials to make this video are that I have tried literally everything. I have at various points in my life owned planners with nothing but empty pages, and a habit app tracker that ended up tracking only one habit, which was opening the app itself. So this video isn't just 5 tips to become more productive, it is my literal survival handbook for you guys on how to beat the procrastination monster, created from my hundreds of thousands of close battles with it. And they are my go-to methods in my real, actual life as a struggling Yale student. This is the video that's going to fix your procrastination problems once and for all, or as many times as it comes back to haunt you. Tip 1. Identity before systems before goals. Most people set a goal. I want to do XYZ. I want to get an A in this class. I want to be more productive. But once they've set the goal, they're confused why their behavior doesn't automatically align to achieve it. That's because a goal is just a future state of being that you want, but it doesn't necessarily tell you what to do in your daily life. It doesn't tell you what to do on Tuesday at 9 p.m. when you don't feel like doing anything. I learned about this from James Clear's Atomic Habits, a book that I think is worth reading for anyone who's genuinely interested in changing not just their productivity, but their entire outlook on life. The entire thing is amazing, but I'm just going to focus on the one concept I found most useful from it: the idea that there are 3 layers to behavior change. The actual outcomes, which includes your goals for your future self, the processes, which are your systems to get there, and the identity behind it, which is your beliefs, who you are as a person, you at your core. And most people try to approach change from the outside in. I want to get an A, therefore I will study more. But the people that actually sustain the change do it from the inside out. They start with the core belief, their identity. I am someone who works hard. I am a good student. I am someone who follows through. They treat every action like a vote towards that identity. That way, by being productive and doing your work, you are affirming who you believe you are, rather than being someone who's unproductive and forcing themselves through a task. I know this sounds kind of Pinterest positive affirmation boardy and not concrete, but there is actually a real psychological mechanism behind it. It's known as framing, and it's one of the most powerful mental hacks out there. When you frame a behavior as evidence of who you are, rather than just a task on a list of to-dos, you are scientifically less likely to skip it. Because now, skipping isn't just missing an item on a checklist, it's casting a vote against who you believe yourself to be. James Clear's whole point is that the goal shouldn't be about the destination. It's your habits, your consistent daily practices that actually make the difference. And one layer underneath that, it's the identity that makes you want to run this system, instead of abandoning it a week in. So, what does this look like in practice? It's simple. Just ask yourself, what would a person who is X do? For example, if you're dreading doing an important project, you could say, what would a person who takes their work seriously do in this situation? I don't think about what do I feel like doing, because usually what I feel like doing is lying down. Instead, I think, what would a hardworking, driven, untouchable, smart, sexy, academic weapon do? Would they do their project, or would they doom scroll for no reason for 2 hours? If this still feels a little bit too vague for you to grasp, don't worry. Try this. Literally project yourself onto a role model, a professional one or a personal one. Your boss, if they're cool, your favorite actress or celebrity or vlogger. Imagining what they would do in a hard scenario where you're trying not to procrastinate allows you to fake it till you make it, to act the part and do the work until it stops being an act at all. Identity isn't something that arrives fully formed. It's something you borrow and build until it's yours. And once you've decided who you are, the only thing left is to get yourself to actually open up that laptop and do the work. Which leads us to tip number 2, also from Atomic Habits, and borderline scary in how well it works. It's called the 2-minute rule, and the idea is you shrink any task until it's small enough that there is no reasonable excuse for you not to do it. For example, instead of write the essay, it'd be open the document and write your thesis statement. Instead of clean my room, it'd be just pick one thing off the floor. Instead of study for the exam, it'd be just open the class notes and look through them. The logic here is that the dread is never in the actual task itself. It's in the activation energy required to start it. But once you hit that 2-minute mark, you're already moving, the momentum kicks in, and autopilot locks you in to do the rest of the work that those 2 minutes didn't even account for. I've actually noticed this in the form of a new trend on social media, where people will literally time how long it takes them to do a task that they've been putting off, in order to show both themselves and everyone else that it is that much easier than we're making it out to be. This is a trend that I recommend everyone participate in. Literally time yourself doing all the tasks that you've been dreading. Doing the laundry, cleaning your room, outlining your essay, so you can see in metrics how much easier it was than you thought it would be. This hack also shows us exactly what procrastination is. Usually it isn't laziness. It's your brain doing cost-benefit analysis on starting something that feels big and uncomfortable, and deciding that comfort wins. But when you shrink that big, uncomfortable task to something so easily doable, your brain's analysis changes. You realize, oh, that's not that bad. I could do that. I use this constantly with writing, guys. Since I can never commit to writing the whole essay, I only commit to just writing an outline, and that naturally builds into writing the first 3 paragraphs. All it takes is 2 minutes to start. Tip 3 is something that most of us dismiss because it seems unserious, but it is actually one of the most important predictors in productivity. It is about your workspace, because your desk is not just where you work, it's how you work. Princeton psychologist Sabine Kastner has spent 20 years studying this, and what she found is that while you're working, your brain doesn't opt out of processing visual distraction. The pile of laundry in your peripheral vision, the clutter and random trinkets on your desk, the used tissues strewn on the floor. Kastner conducted an experiment where people were told to focus on one object in their visual field, but there was a second distractor object in their visual field at the same time. The brain scans showed that there was still a faint trace of the second object in people's minds that they weren't supposed to be looking at, even when they were told to put their full attention on the first object. It was still there, demanding a small, constant tax on attention. So this is your sign to take clean space, clear mind, literally. And I know it's hard. So if you don't have the energy right now to clean your entire room, start with just having a clean, designated area for working and locking in. And make sure it's not your bed, because your brain builds associations between places and states, the same way as it treats lying down in your bed as a cue to go to sleep. Mixing environments and activities confuses the cues, which is why doing homework on my bed has a 0% success rate. What should you put in that workspace to max your productivity? Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because I actually recently upgraded my desk setup. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So let me show you. Hey guys, I wanted to quickly pause to talk about summer resets. Most of you know that I'm a part-time college student, but less of you know that I'm a full-time procrastinator. So since it is summer, I am challenging myself to get rid of my procrastination habits, starting with upgrading my desk setup. And I grabbed a few things from Walmart to lock it in. First of all, I got a monitor, and guys, I cannot believe it has taken me this long to get one. It's one of those things that you don't realize you need until you actually have it. Working with the full screen just makes everything so much easier, especially if you're like me and have a million tabs open all the time. And I paired it with the cutest full-size mouse mat, so the whole setup just looks super professional. And this wireless charger, while it might be small, is actually my secret weapon to defeating procrastination once and for all. It makes me consciously aware of every time I choose to pick up my phone, so that way I don't just mindlessly reach for it in the middle of a study session. I actually have to make the decision to grab it. This small psychological hack genuinely changes everything, so you're not just hitting the mindless scroll every 15 minutes. And guys, after a week of testing this at-home setup, it has genuinely reduced my procrastination to the lowest it has ever been. I am 100% bringing all of these new desk finds to my new college apartment this coming school year for the ultimate lock-in sessions that you guys will see on the vlog. And if you want any of these for your own desk setup, go check them out, the link in the description right now. Thank you to Walmart for sponsoring this video and this amazing desk glow up. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, you guys, fair warning, tip 4 might just ruin your day, but someone has to say it, and I guess that's gonna be me. What do you do when you give yourself a break from work? Because if you asked me up until a year ago, I would have told you I scroll on TikTok, which is entirely normal because that's what that evil clock app wants us to do. However, I want to push back on the entire concept of the doom scrolling break because I think it's one of the most successful lies we've told ourselves. Of course, scrolling feels like a break because you stop doing your assignment and it's fun, duh. But your brain doesn't actually process it as a break. It doesn't process it as real rest. TikToks, Reels, Shorts are all high stimulation input. You're not resting, you're remaining alert. You're shifting the same amount of energy and effort from your assignment to scrolling. There's a concept called attention residue. When you switch from one task to another, part of your attention doesn't fully make the switch with you. It lingers on the thing that you just left. So when you go from your assignment to your phone, then back to your assignment, part of your attention is still invested in the scrolling, which is why it's so easy for 5 minutes of scrolling to turn into 25 minutes. And you come back to your work feeling more scattered, not less. A real break, on the other hand, means reducing the level of stimulation. Say it with me, ladies, low stimulation activities only. Stretching, showering, self-care, skincare, or my personal favorite, a walk in the sun. Let me tell you, sunlight is an actual study hack. Natural light during the day helps you to regulate your circadian rhythm. This is from a UK biobank study that tracked over 400,000 people and found that getting too little daylight during the day was directly linked to worse mood, worse sleep, and disrupted circadian rhythms. And because there's no competing high stimulation input on your walk, your attention levels actually get to reset so you come back to your work feeling rested. So, the move isn't to never take breaks. It's to take breaks that are actually breaks. A 5-minute walk outside will do way more for you than a 5-minute scroll, and it's gonna be twice as fun. Okay, we've come to our final tip. Why am I getting emotional, you guys? Last for best though. This is the one that changed my actual GPA, so listen carefully, babies. Most note-taking is just glorified transcription. I don't care if you're using highlighters, if you're writing it in different colors, I don't care if you're moving things around. If you're just writing down what's on the slides, you're not doing it right. You're just recording information, not processing it. Your hand might be very busy, but your brain might not be doing anything at all. Shocking parallels to something else. Here's the note-taking process that I use for all of my classes at Yale. First of all, I take all my notes on iPad, specifically on the Notability app. And if you're not on Notability, lock in and get on it. It is the best note-taking app. Argue with the App Store. So what I do is I download the lecture slide PDF ahead of class. If your teacher or professor doesn't do this, tell them to do it. That's basic courtesy, babes. Then, because I set up autosync across my Notability accounts, I just drop the file directly in the Notability Mac app, and it instantly syncs with the Notability app on my iPad. No airdrop needed, baby. And then I just open up that PDF and write directly on it. That way, I'm not the one that's deciding what's important enough to write down. The professor already did that for me with the slides. My only job becomes processing what they said and explaining it in my own words, underneath the existing definitions. And with that, those are all of my tips. But I want to leave you guys with one last message. Arguably, the most important message of this video. Choosing productivity should be simple, but it rarely ever feels like it actually is. Willpower is a resource that drains so easily. It's weak and limited. That means that the actual fix is removing it entirely. Decide right now to make the most out of every minute after this. Decide to be optimistic. Decide to be high energy. Decide to be excited. Decide to be strong, so that future you doesn't have to make a single decision out of momentary weakness of willpower. Future you just has to follow the plan that current you has made. And pair it with the above tips, girl, you're golden. You're gonna become the next unbeatable academic weapon. Wow, you guys, this might be the most productive video I've ever made. And with that, we're done. If you enjoyed this video, please, please, please give it a like and subscribe and stick around. Don't run away from me. Don't do it. Not when we're so close to 500K. Don't do it to me, please. Let me know if these tips were helpful and if you try to incorporate any of them into your life. And if you want more, because I have a couple more in my little box of trinkets. I love you so much. Please stay healthy and happy until I see you next time. Bye.